Hey guys, Mac here. I am real sorry I've missed you guys for a few weeks. The holidays are crazy, and I'm sure everybody knows that they're crazy. So I had to take a few weeks off, but I'm back, and you guys are going to get a double dose of goodness because it's the end of the year. And in typical movie critic fashion, just like everybody else around the internet's doing, I'm going to give you my top 10 list of the best movies I saw in 2018. And I'm also going to give you a list of the worst movies I've seen in 2018. But for this video, we're going to focus on the best. I did have a whole video planned all about my favorite holiday movies, but unfortunately it never came to fruition. So I'll just give them to you real quick. Die Hard, Gremlins, Christmas Vacation, Scrooged. Those are the four that I have to watch every single Christmas in order to get myself in the spirit. In the words of one of the healthcare workers I met recently, it's not Christmas time until Hans Gruber gets dropped. So I'm with him on that. And yes, Die Hard is indeed a Christmas movie. So before I get into my top 10 of the year, as always, do me a favor. Like, share, subscribe, hit the little bell to get the notifications of every time a new video comes up, which will hopefully be on a little bit more of a regular schedule than it has been in the past. Also, a special shout out to my nephews, Elijah and Liam, for finally getting me off my butt and getting me to do another video. So, thanks guys. Now, a few disclaimers. First off, I have not seen every movie that came out in 2018. That's like almost impossible. I saw a lot, but I didn't see all of them. Second, there are still movies I do want to see, and I just haven't gotten around to yet. And third, since I'm not an actual movie critic, I don't get pre-screen passes or anything like that, so I don't get to see a lot of the independent movies. I had to seek them out on my own with our local art house movie theaters, which luckily we have a few. So most of these titles are going to be wide releases. So just as a heads up, if you're looking for any of those little indie hidden gems, they're not a whole lot on here. In fact, I don't think there are any on here. I wish I could have made a top 20 list, guys, because there were tons of great movies this year that I saw, and I want to put them on here, but I just don't have the room because there were some really good ones, all right? Some of the ones that didn't make the cut: First Man, starring Ryan Gosling, about Neil Armstrong; Avengers: Infinity War. It was close, but it didn't quite make it. Deadpool 2, same thing, didn't quite make it. Mission Impossible: Fallout, also very close, but not quite. Teen Titans Go to the Movies, loved it so much, just didn't have enough room. And probably most regrettable is The Favorite. I liked it, I didn't love it. And Bohemian Rhapsody, as great as that was, there were at least 10 movies that were better than it. So they're great movies, seek them out if you can. But here are my top 10 of the year. So number 10 is the sequel 54 years in the making. It is Mary Poppins Returns. The music is wonderful. The choreography is wonderful. The 2D animation is stunning. It's gorgeous. Emily Blunt is great. She's not trying to be Julie Andrews. She's doing her own thing. All the performances, Lin-Manuel Miranda, all of the kids, Ben Whishaw as Michael Banks, Emily Mortimer as Jane Banks, they're all great. The movie's fantastic. It gives that great, that awesome feeling you want when you come out of the movies. You'll sigh in happiness and you'll just be full of joy. And yeah, I cried a little bit, not because of the emotional aspect of the story, but watching this all unfold, especially the animation. It's just gorgeous. It makes me realize how much I missed the hand-drawn animation. So number 10, Mary Poppins Returns. Number 9, a very different movie, but a great movie nonetheless. It is Widows. This is the new thriller by acclaimed director Steve McQueen. A great crime thriller that follows these four women whose husbands obviously died during a heist, and they decide to pick it up and do it on their own. I don't want to tell you why. Their motivations are actually part of what drives the story. And the great thing about this movie, it isn't about the heist itself. It's everything that leads up to the heist. And I will tell you that the heist is no slouch. It's great, but great performances across the board, some great twists, really a good thinker, and from a directing standpoint, man, Steve McQueen is awesome. There are some shots in there that are just unbelievable. So Widows is my number 9. Number 8 is the universally acclaimed horror movie, A Quiet Place. I just got a chance to watch this again today, and man, it still is an amazing movie. The sound design, give credit to John Krasinski, how much he had to do with the sound design when nobody speaks for the majority of the movie. He had a lot on his plate, and for somebody that hasn't directed before, wow, I am really impressed with what he has done, and I can't wait to see where he goes. All the performances, even though there are only 4 of them, they are 4 amazing performances from John Krasinski, Emily Blunt, and the 2 kids. Just a wonderful movie, a scary movie, just a really great original horror concept. So number 8 is A Quiet Place. Number 7, Creed 2. Okay, I'll get it out of the way right now. It's not nearly as good as the first Creed, but that's a tall order to fill, folks. But this is an awesome movie. Being from Philadelphia, I obviously have a soft spot for Rocky. No matter how crappy the Rocky movies got, I still love, I would say I still love them all, but I don't love Rocky 5, because who can really love Rocky 5? It's awful. But the first Creed sets such a great foundation, and this one is a naturally awesome sequel. You get more from Rocky himself. You get more from Donnie. And then bringing the Dragos into the mix is just an awesome idea, especially for fans of Rocky 4. There's so much to love in this movie. Creed 2, awesome movie, so that's my number 7. My number 6, I guarantee you're not going to see this on any other top 10 list, and it's a shame because it's a great movie, Bad Times at the El Royale. This is an awesome, twisty thriller that takes place in a hotel that actually has split right down the middle between California and Nevada. It tells the story from a bunch of different viewpoints, from a bunch of different character viewpoints. It is shockingly violent. It's funny. It forces you to pay attention, and it is wonderful. From the director Drew Goddard, who directed Cabin in the Woods. You should go see this movie. I know people have not seen it, but you really should. It's out on video now, but please seek this out. Bad Times at the El Royale is awesome, and it was my number 6. Number 5, probably the biggest surprise of the year, SpiderMan Into the SpiderVerse. This was an absolute dream for nerds, for comic book readers, for Spider-Man fans, and for fans of animation. It was gorgeous to look at. I know it took a long time to make, but it's really paid off. The story was nerd heaven with, all the dimensions intersecting. There were real stakes here. It's just awesome. And I really sat there with my jaw to the ground for like the entire time. And I can't emphasize how important it is that comic book fans, Marvel fans, Spider-Man fans see this movie. This is the quintessential Spider-Man. I don't think it's going to be done any better. This is just fantastic. So number 5, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Number 4 is Vice, the almost true biopic of Dick Cheney, the vice president to George W. Bush. I say almost because there's a disclaimer at the front of the movie that said he's a very secretive man, and we did what we could. This is just a fantastic movie. Directed by Adam McKay, who most recently did The Big Short. And his style of humor and directing, like breaking the fourth wall and throwing things up and explaining things to you, was all over this movie, and I think it worked great. The narrator was a really awesome idea and definitely worth the payoff. Christian Bale, all the performances are great, but Christian Bale as Dick Cheney was easily the best performance I saw a guy like a male do this year. Nobody has done anything better. He just loses himself in that role. I'll tell you right now, if you do not share the liberal viewpoint of the director, you're not going to enjoy this movie. I highly recommend it. So my number 4 was Vice. Number 3, my second horror movie of the year, and one of the most memorable horror movies I've seen in years, Hereditary. This is a horror movie following a grieving family about a woman that had just lost her mother, and her daughter may be possessed by her mother. There's so many things in this movie, and I don't want to say anything because you should watch it and you should experience all the surprises for yourself, because there are tons. They're all over the place, and the less you know going into this, the better. What you do need to know is that Toni Collette, I believe, gives the performance of the year, male or female. She is amazing in this movie, and I'm fairly certain the Academy is not going to recognize her, and that is a travesty because she is so good in this. She carries this creepy, wonderful horror movie. Hereditary, number 3, just awesome. Here we go. Number 2, the documentary, Won't You Be My Neighbor? And this is about Fred Rogers of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Documentaries like to talk about the flaws of people. Fred Rogers was just a good dude. He was an advocate for television. He was a musician. He was all about not talking down to children and letting children ask questions and ask mature questions. He was an amazing man. It was an amazing show. And this is an absolutely phenomenal documentary that I cried at numerous times because how great this man was. And coming out of this theater, you will have, or coming out of the theater or watching it, you'll have such a good feeling. And it's a good feeling that we don't get very often in today's world, especially, you know, with everything that's going on. But Won't You Be My Neighbor is phenomenal. And that is my number 2. All right, my number 1, my best movie of 2018. It is A Star Is Born. Stars Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga in an amazing breakthrough performance. It's a story that's been told 3 times before, but not like this. The directing is very personal. It's very intimate. And it's Bradley Cooper, who did such a great job. The music is fantastic, and I don't think anybody saw that coming, how good the music was in this movie. It shows both ends of the celebrity. It shows, you know, the rough road of becoming a star, and it also shows the rough road of falling from grace. It's very, very upfront about addiction. It's really tough to watch, very emotional. If you don't get emotional at the end of this movie, I don't think you have a heart. There's like an empty cavity where your heart should be. It's a fantastic movie, and I will stand by as what I believe to be the best movie of 2018. That is A Star Is Born. All right, guys, that wraps it up. That's my top 10 of 2018. Please do me a favor. Are there movies that I missed? Are there movies that you don't agree with? Are there movies that you do agree with? Put all that stuff in the comments, okay? Please load up those comments. I want to hear what you guys think about 2018. If you've seen these movies, what you think of them. If you haven't seen these movies, go see them because they're 10 of the best of the year. But load up the comments for me and stay tuned because very, very soon you will have my worst movies of 2018. So until then, guys, thank you very much. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And this is Mac saying I'm out.